quick second to thank Darcy for being up here and playing drums. Kind of last minute. Thank you, Darcy. It's nice. It's nice. And we now know he can count to 4, so that's great. It's good progress. We all got progress. If you would join us in our statement of faith together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent.
Good morning. Since Darcy's doing double duty today, back on sound and on the drums, we had to wait till he could get back there and turn on the microphone. So welcome to everybody that's here in the sanctuary and to all of you that are watching our live stream at home, or even if people watch later in the week. We welcome you. We're glad you're here, and we hope you'll join us in person sometime. If this is your first time here, there are forms in the back of your chairs we would love to have you fill out. And our ambassadress today is Mary. And she has a packet of information and a coffee mug for you if you're new. And please stop and talk to her. She can answer all your questions about life, anything. Please check in on Facebook and let your friends and family know that you are here. And then please silence your phone. It's quite embarrassing to have it ring during the meditation. These beautiful flowers today were shared with us by Sue Baggett Day in celebration of her and Paul's 10th anniversary. Please join me in our mission statement. Our mission is to encourage and inspire spiritual and personal growth by empowering each other to be authentically all that we came here to be. Let's speak together the affirmation for today's daily word. It is up on your screen. I am a radiant expression of God's infinite life and love. Life is much more than mere existence. It is the expression of God's infinite presence within me. Life is eternal, vibrant, and sacred, flowing through every part of me. As I align with divine wisdom, I recognize life is not just happening to me, but through me. I co-create with Spirit, shaping my experiences with my thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Every moment holds a potential for renewal, growth, and joy. When I embrace life with faith and gratitude, I open myself to possibilities. Challenges become stepping stones. Each day becomes an opportunity to express more love, peace, and creativity. Life is a sacred gift, and I am here to live it fully. As I affirm my divinity, I embody the boundless, beautiful expression of life itself. The scripture for today is Acts 17:28. Please join me. In Him we live and move and have our being. And let's repeat the affirmation. I am a radiant expression of God's infinite love. As I ring the prayer bowl, please hold the following people in prayer for their highest good. Kelly, Jim, G, Carolyn, Peggy, Robert, Kathy, Sue Ann, Chuck, Jack, Sally, Kay, Ellen, Connor, Jerry, Shyla, Rihanna, Nathan, and anyone that you would like to bring into our prayers today. Let us sing our thoughts or prayers.
Thoughts or prayers
as you hear and feel the vibrations coming from our prayer bowl, the very energy of God that fills this sanctuary and fills us with every single breath we breathe. Visualize your oneness with Spirit. Take a deep breath in, hold, and exhale. Send and receive hope, peace, love, and joy to all the people sitting around you, and extend it to every person in this world. Center yourself as we begin to relax our minds and bodies, preparing for prayer and meditation. Beginning at the crown of your head, release tension in your mind and your body. Inhale, hold, and exhale. Follow your focus to your forehead, eyes, ears, lips, tongue, and jaw. Follow your attention to your neck and shoulders, down through your arms, wrists, and fingers, intentionally relaxing as you go. Move down through your spine and lower back, your thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and toes. Remind yourself to relax and let go. Breathe. We affirm the highest and best. Manifest for the names on the prayer list, for healing, prosperity, guidance, safety, and peace of mind. We embody these prayers for ourselves, our families, and friends, to all. We celebrate this or something better that is our divine birthright. We support diversity, equity, and inclusion for all. We support peace and harmony in all countries. We visualize food, health care, shelter for those in need here and around the world. We visualize basic needs met, inner peace, safety, and happiness for all. Where there is a war, we send peace and love. Acceptance of differing beliefs enveloping our country. We choose to contribute from a loving heart to a consciousness of oneness. We choose forgiveness to clear any blocks to our well-being, our minds, or to our flow of love and prosperity. We forgive ourselves for any regrets or actions that we took in the past that may have hurt someone. God is our absolute source. Our abundant good comes to us in a myriad of ways. Our consciousness, we attract divine ideas of ways to further support not only our lives, but also our church. And we attract people here who have been searching for the truth that will change their lives as Unity has changed our lives. We are grateful for the divine unfolding of God's good, actively working in and through those for whom we pray. Life is eternal, vibrant, and sacred, flowing through every part of us. As we align with divine wisdom, we recognize life is not just happening to us, but also through us. We co-create with Spirit, shaping our experiences with our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Let us be open to the divine guidance of our co-creator. Listen in the silence. As our band members are coming up, I am happy to welcome again Mitch Brashers to our platform as our guest speaker today. Mitch has lived in Springfield for over 30 years with his wife, Carrie, where they graduated from MSU and have raised their family. In the early 2000s, they served in the U.S. Peace Corps, with Mitch teaching English and Carrie leading education and health programs. Mitch's career has spanned refugee resettlement, nonprofit leadership, and media. He is now an on-air host and producer of KY3's The Place. It happens at 3:30 or 3?
3:30 to 4 o'clock. Thank you for the plug.
Yes, yes. And I also tape it so that if I want to go back and look at it when I get home from work, I can. He also serves as president of the Blues Society of the Ozarks, plays in 2 bands with fellow Unity musician Denny Robinson, and has been an active member of Unity of Springfield for more than a decade, playing in the church band, serving on the board, and emceeing events like the talent shows and Planet Unity.
All right, well, good morning and welcome to everyone. It's great to see you all in here. I need to get my notes. That's genius at work right there. I'm not going to wing it. I am kind of going to wing it. I'm not going to wing it. I'll explain all that. So, Dee asked me about 10 days ago, I want to say, right around that. It's like, hey, are you able and willing and ready to do a talk on Sunday? And I said, no, I'm not ready. And Dee said, of course, as normal, no, Punchy, you're going to be up there and you're going to do it. And I said, now, see, Dee, I know if I had proper preparation, I would have had ChatGPT use your actual photo, but I didn't have time, so I said, that's fine, the likeness is good enough. Everybody will know it's her. They'll know who it is. So that's all right, though. I am the bottom of the barrel. I said, if you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, she said, you're the bottom. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll be here. I'll do that. But that's okay, because I realized it's a holiday, right? It's a holiday weekend, and I have been doing holiday weekends. I did a quasi-holiday, Father's Day, and then I did Memorial Day a month ago or so, whenever that was. And so this is the wokest of holidays, my favorite, Indigenous Peoples Day, right? The nice thing about not being a licensed Unity teacher, not really being affiliated with Unity at all, is that I can say whatever I want. So hang on, we're going to say a lot of stuff during the sermon. So in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. I am full of a room full of people that know that little line, aren't we all? We all remember that? We had a great little memory of Mr. Christopher Columbus. Huh? We all had that. We all remember Christopher Columbus, of course. He sailed across the ocean with Shadrach, Meshach, and the Abednego. The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. Close thing, a similar story, very similar story. Good group of people. But we know, that nowadays we can look at this in a bigger perspective. I actually read the whole poem this morning. It's a lovely little poem written in 48. I say lovely. It's very, how shall I say it? Very Americana-y, Johnny Appleseed-y, great thing of America. You know what I'm talking about. It's a very, very, that sense of what we teach our children in elementary school, right? It's the cherry tree being chopped down, that type of thing. I cannot tell a lie. Very, very much what we grew up on. But we recognize now, as we've gotten older, that, he didn't discover America. He discovered the Bahamas, which is actually an interesting thing, because that's actually in the poem. And it's kind of hard to discover something if people are already there, right? I mean, you didn't really discover like you showed up. Like, I discovered your house. Like, no, man, it's a party. Like, you came to the house. So it's kind of hard to justify that. And, of course, he didn't get to India. He didn't make it all the way around. And, of course, his life, as we look into it, if you're an adult and you delve a little more, you realize Columbus did a whole lot of not great things. And he wasn't even first. Leaf was first, right? So the wokest of holidays, because I would suspect everyone in here calls it Indigenous Peoples Day and probably doesn't call it Columbus Day. And that's kind of what I like at that. Being woke, if we're going to talk about that, is looking at a broader perspective and not have to say this is right and this is wrong. A lot of people want to get caught up in being right not having, or having been right. They want to be caught up in having been right. And so you get a pushback. Well, my day, it was good. It was Columbus Day. It was just fine. The stories, we don't have to have. What we're saying is, if you're woke, air quote woke, is you're giving yourself a broader perspective and saying, I can look at things in a much more nuanced fashion, and I can look at them in a particular way, and I have the right to determine how I want to look at a particular thing. And that collectively then shapes a society. It's not wrong to look at it a different way. There's not really a right or wrong, and we'll delve a little bit into that. But I'm not necessarily upset with not celebrating a complete fabrication. I don't have to teach my kids something foolish. We don't have any kids in here. Santa Claus, right? How'd you handle Santa Claus with your kids? Didn't want to lie necessarily, right? I never really lied about it. Just didn't say it. We just celebrated as an icon, just like the Easter Bunny. You know, we never really lied about it. But I don't mind changing my perspective a little bit and saying, yes, Indigenous Peoples Day. That is actually something we need to stop saying he discovered America. There was no discovery. He was the first European that made it over here. But was he really? Of course Leaf was. So anyway, we can still have some fond memories, right? Like we have fond memories of Columbus Day back as a kid. It was a holiday, just as a holiday. We had some fun little moments, things like that. We can hold a nuanced version of that. We can say the past was the past, and that's fine. And that's how we looked at it, and that's the collective thing that we taught, but we don't have to teach it that way anymore. We can have a new perspective. We can say, you know what, this is the way I was raised, but life is a lot more nuanced. It doesn't have to be so black and white. As our culture continues to diversify, and as our peoples continue to diversify, that is where our strength lies into looking at our history collectively and saying, let's look at it as grown-ups and not look at it as a nursery tale or a nursery rhyme. T to the J, right? This is a man who wrote All Men Are Created Equal on a country that they took the land away from the people that lived there and built our country on slavery. I mean, our White House was built with slave labor. This man held two different ideas in his mind. He was a slave owner that also said all men are created equal. Well, I think we all know about Sally Hemings as well, you know. That's a whole different time. And we talk about modern sensibilities. And honestly, that's a very valid point. The past is the past, but our society now is what we've changed to. And we've said, this was the way it was in the past perhaps, but it's not anymore. I got in a little thread online the other day that ended up talking, you know, my grandparents got married at 15 and 16 because my grandmother and grandfather got pregnant at 14 and 15. That was the time they got married, you know, parental permission. Grandfather worked for as a lineman, GE, like the year after that. Worked for 25 years, retired with a pension. Things were different then, you know? Housing is different then. Things are just simply different. And to say, let's take it back or let's look at, that's not the way it works, man. Life changes, things move. You've got to stay awake. You've got to stay aware. You've got to stay, I guess, a little bit woke. So there's going to be a little bit of wide-ranging thoughts coming your way today. So let us recap. And I hear some of you groan. I sat there for the first two. I don't want to hear a recap. Too bad. It won't hurt till you hear it again. And if you did miss any of my other talks, too bad. You thought you were going to get away from me. Nanner, nanner, nanner. You have to listen. And if you're new, I'd like to say welcome to Unity. We're not all megalomaniacs. Just me, a couple guys in the band. People in the office. Don't get me started on the board. Anyway, so let's do a nice little recap here. Let's talk about the first one, Father's Day. Father's Day, it's kind of a C-grade holiday. It was kind of a C-minus talk, so that's all right. But what we talked about was the nature of God. We talk about the concept that perhaps God in its singularity and in itself knows itself as itself, but it can't express itself because it's singular. So God created everything out of itself, and that is where we're at. This universe, when we say God is everything, unity is all one, we mean that quite literally. Like everything God made itself, we are it. Now, we have different levels of consciousness, and that's a little bit about the next week. But that is it. God is creating, and we talk about God's love being unending and constantly going. That love is the act of creation, the verb creation. We are always creating. Always. Your thoughts are always creating. Your actions are creating. Right now, you're moving. Things right now, the things I'm saying, you're processing. You're using this. You'll think about it later, perhaps. Maybe you'll think, what a jerk. And I think that's probably a valid point, too. But we're always creating. Always, always, always. You cannot. The life breath that's in you is creation. And so that's what we're talking about. Life is creation, and that is how God expresses itself on this mortal plane. To experience itself, you have to to know what up is, you have to have a down. To know what left is, you have to have a right. As a singular being, God potentially created it all out of itself. That's the way I choose to see it, because it makes a lot of sense to me. It makes a lot of sense to me, whether it's true or not, Couldn't care less. That's how I'm going to live my life, because that is what God wants us to do. God expresses itself through us, so how I choose to express myself is that perfect expression of God. You can only control yourself. Let's see here. I like the sun metaphor. It's brought up multiple times. I'm going to hit it again. Like the sun shines indiscriminately, God's creation is the same. We're always creating. We're always creating because we are the lens through which God expresses itself. That's what our consciousness is. Which brings us to the Memorial Day talk. The concentric perspective, written by the great Mr. Eric Butterworth. Delicious, delicious sermons. The concentric perspective is that life is lived from the inside out, and the thought that you can only control yourself. That's really what it is. I don't have control over anything outside of me. What I really have control over is my thoughts, my reactions, and you can train those, and you can shape those. Just like an athlete might train their body, you can train the way you want to think. You can train your perspective. You can train how you want to be. You can shape your life to how you want it to be or not. That's perfectly fine too. Again, there's not a right or wrong to this. There's simply, how do you want to live your life? What is the most fulfilling to you? What do you want to get out of it? Take a charity. How many charities are there? There's a million charities. I suspect someone has either donated or volunteered to a charity today, but what yours is not what yours is not what yours is. There's a million choices, a million different ways to live your life, and you can't do it all. So you make the choice. You make the choice of how you want to interpret this life and through what lens you want to see it. So this was the concentric perspective, that the very simple, that apparently we couldn't fund in the book. I had to make this myself. It was tough. Being and being me. That little intersection of the two lines, that is consciousness. We have a hard time defining life. You know, scientists have a very hard, there's about 8 different characteristics, and not all of them have to be true. Like viruses, I don't think are even considered alive, even though they are independent, they reproduce. I mean, there's a lot of, life is a very difficult thing for us to pinpoint. But we have, I think, an easier time at least recognizing consciousness, right? You can recognize there's a consciousness that's different in a dog than there is in a dolphin, than it is in an ant. But they're all conscious in a certain way. But we have the great gift. The intersection right there, that is the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That is God's gift to us, and is actually a receiving gift for God, because God receives in the same way. By God giving us the gift of consciousness, God also receives the gift of experience itself. It's a symbiotic thing. It's all one. It's a closed loop. So being and being me, that's the big thing. I think we can all recognize that. Being, obviously, is the great collective. And then, you know, I think a really important part is that lens that narrows it down into it. We cannot comprehend all that is God, and that's fine. We can't comprehend. We have ideas of the afterlife. Who absolutely has any idea? You know, if you look at just modern fiction literature, whether it's science fiction or fantasy, humans are insanely creative. We create these wonderful acts of fiction. We are storytellers. We are a group of gregarious apes that kind of came together and came to a higher level of consciousness, and then have shaped our world into where we're at. So that being and being me, that lens is never going to be perfect. We'll never be able to get the full aspect of it, and that's okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about the will to willingness. One of the key points in the concentric perspective, and that's kind of what I want to roll with a little bit today. This is originally what I was going to talk in, but it's gotten a little smushed in. So I'm going to try and make a couple of key points. The first is giving up. And I mentioned this briefly, you know, the whole rock bottom. A lot of people come down to rock bottom. No one's going to change. You can't change until you want to change. I think we all know that's true. You're not going to change someone else. They're going to want to have to change. But where do you have to get in your life to want to have to change? We do feel like, as the story tells, it has to be a big, dramatic thing. We've hit the rock bottom. We can't do anything else. That does happen. And then you give it up. You go to rehab, or you go to AA, perhaps, if it's something along those lines, or you get whatever it may be. Even if it's just in your life, we give up to Jesus, you know. We all came from that time. I'm sure plenty of us have been saved and baptized where we were just so bad and we just couldn't do it anymore, so we gave it up to Jesus, which is the same concept of giving it to the universe. Hey, universe, take control. I'm not in control. I can let it to something beyond my conception and my power. Now, do I accept that as that particular dogma? No, but the thought behind it is similar. And the feeling behind it of, when do I just let it go? And if you're not familiar, and I know most of us are probably here in the Unity line, you know, Charles Fillmore, one of our co-founders, did the whole 12 powers back in the days. It was always nice. I feel like like that time, I think the more complicated it was, the better it is. And nowadays, like the more simple it is, the better it is. Logos with no words, just, it's very, back in the day. And then now you have a Vantex. This is a pill. Back in the day, it was, Professor Snogglesworth, magic elixir of cod liver extract. You're like, oh, how complicated is that? So Charles Fillmore has the 12 powers, and every power is associated with the color, and associated with the chakra, and associated with an apostle. So it's like super duper complex. But one of them is giving up, the release, the elimination. That is one of the 12 powers. And I think that's sold a little bit short. The concentric perspective almost makes no distinction between giving of yourself and giving in. Giving away to what's down in the core, that core of where God and your perception comes together, that is, if you want to strip away down to who you are, that's what you do. You get rid of. I don't need this in my life. I don't need this in my life. This is not the true me. Till you get down to the core, you're giving away. And the way to do that is to give of yourself. That is one of the ways to do that. That's a surefire way to do that. To give of your money, to give of your talent, to give of your volunteering, whatever it is. If you give away, the more you give, the more you receive. That is actually one of the few things, well, I shouldn't say one of the few things, but that is a definitive thing that he says in the Bible. As you give, so shall you receive. I mean, that's clear. It's not give and you will receive. It's like as you do it, as much as you do, it will be given back into you. It's a real simple thing. So the more you give, the more you look. And we're not talking money, although money is important in this world, especially in this particular type of country that we have, a very capitalistic country, which, not right or wrong, that's just the nature of it. But look to give. How can you give? How can you help? How can you give of your time? How can you give of yourself? How can you give of your talent? By giving and giving and giving, you release that and you get closer to that core of who you are. By giving and giving and giving, you give away of yourself to get closer to that core. God said, let there be light. God didn't say there is light. You allow it. You release it. You release the things that don't do you well. But what you also do is you give away your willingness to control. You give it that Jesus take the wheel moment. However you may want to look at it. You're saying, universe, I'm going to trust in the divinity. I'm going to trust that God is really looking out for itself. How could God not be looking out for itself? In our short-sightedness, we see that because we do say we're all one, right? But we definitely have enemies, right? We have people, we have cultures we don't like. We have certain things that we don't agree with. We have whatever else it may be. We have a lot of that division that we put in. If you just give the willingness to say, it's okay. I'm letting go down to the core of who I am, giving it away, giving it away, giving it away. You receive and you receive and you receive that abundance. I don't have this set on not shutting off, so it keeps going off. So it's a complete cycle. I see there's another result of me not being prepared. A typo, D. I hope you're happy with myself. See how I put that on her? It's all about me. So as we said, giving and receiving, same thing. Interesting thing that I came across, it said prayer does not make answers, it accepts answers. It's really what your prayer is. You're accepting the answers that are coming. You're saying, as it is, whatever may come, may come. That is fine. You're trusting in the universe to say, things are going to be well for me. I don't necessarily see in my short-sightedness because you can't see with that concentric perspective. Your perspective is down to this real humanness, and you can't see the greater pattern as it should be, as God intended for it to be. If God knew its divinity, if we knew our divinity right now, then the game's over, right? God can't express itself. So part of what we're doing here is getting to that core of saying, yes, I want to be who I want to be in the way that I think it should be expressed to reflect God. The God that I want to reflect, that is what we're in here for doing. That's a weird way of saying that. That's what we're in here for doing. So I'm going to talk about a couple things here. In the fantastic book, How Minds Change by David McRaney, he covers a bunch of different things. You know, it seems... Why can't we, as I said, as we start to strip away, it's not an easy thing to do. It's a very difficult thing. Living very deliberately is a hard thing to do. It takes a lot of concentration. It takes a ton of focus. And again, it's okay if you fail. You are going to fail. Life is what you make it. Only you can control it. So I'm going to give you a little thing that you can do here. You're driving along here this upcoming week. What I want you to do is kick off the radio, anything that you're singing onto, anything distracting. Put on, some soft music, whatever, piano, anything that just gives you where you can be alone with your thoughts. We so often don't want to be alone with our thoughts because when we're alone with our thoughts, we have to think, right? And we have to think about what we're doing. So as you're sitting there, I want you to turn off your music, Take a breath, focus. If you've got a mantra, great. A little bit of oming is always a good thing to clear out. I like the God is, I am, God is on the in-breath. I am on the out. God is, I am. Sort of focus myself 3 or 4 breaths. And then just try to be conscious. Just try to be conscious and don't think. Just drive. You can do that. You're in automatic. You've got your body busy. Your mind can sit and be blank. And then when those first thoughts come in, find out what those are. Oh, got to stop real quick. Just be a little bit blank. And then it's fine. It's hard to concentrate. Go ahead, let your mind roll, but keep the music off for a while. And then in about, I don't know, a little bit, think about what you're thinking about. And I say that to say, where's your mind gone to? What are you rolling in your mind? Are you thinking about what work is? Are you doing something productive? Are you thinking about what that guy said on Facebook? And boy, it really made you angry. And you know what? You have the perfect response for that. And you know that, and all of a sudden you find yourself in that argument with no one. How many arguments a day do you spend in your mind with no one? I know I spend a lot, especially when I catch myself with the off. Like, you know, I think about the world and the state of affairs, and I can't believe it. I saw that news article today, and it makes me so angry. And how can people think like that? And you know what? I do remember they said that. And you know, if they were here, I would tell them right now. You think you're so? Who am I talking to? What argument? I'm talking to myself and yelling at myself for nothing. Stop that for a second. And here's the thing. You'll catch yourself and again, and you'll be like, holy smokes, is this all my thought? But you start to train yourself, and you'll move it away. And you'll say, who am I talking to? Nobody. Silly old me. Silly old me. I'm going to think about something else. So what are you going to think about? Well, I'm going to give you a little exercise that you can think about here. So How Minds Change by David McCraney. Great book. Really, you know, he really, I've listened to this podcast called You Are Not So Smart, which is great. And so I bought his book, which has a lot kind of built in. If you really want to understand how people think and how they do change their minds, it's a fascinating book, and it's extremely good. But one of the concepts that he puts in, which I absolutely love, he calls it Argument City. And he says, if you have a topic, or topics, I guess Argument City is what he calls it. If you have a topic, it's often like a skyline, right? So the skyline of Sydney, the skyline of Barcelona, the skyline of New York, the skyline of Los Angeles. We have a skyline, right? You know what it looks like. If I put up San Francisco, you see the bitch like, San Francisco, right? Oftentimes we have a topic in our mind that is, we know what the skyline looks like. We've been told by the church. We've been told by our friends. We just grew up that way. That's just common knowledge. It's just the way we accept it. And we know that that's a skyline, but you don't really know the city till you move there, right? Till you drive into it and you go up and down. So here's what I would suggest to you. If you have something really passionate about, when you're driving along in your car and you're doing your little exercise, not your little exercise, when you're doing your exercise and you're like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? What was I doing? I'm going to stop and think about, pick a topic. Pick a hard topic. Abortion. Do you believe abortion is right or if it is wrong? Well, defend it. That's a hard topic right now. Yeah. What, euthanasia. Well, what about that? Compassionate care at the end of life. Is that something that you believe in? Why or why not? Think about those things. It's super hard to think about things, but we have the time, and we live in a fantastic day and age when we have the time to do it. We drive, driving's a perfect example. We drive all the time. You have all the time, it takes me 12 minutes to get to work, 12 minutes to get home. If I can just spend that time and think about, there's about 25 minutes a day that I can spend just a little bit of time working on me for what I want to do. And it's not about you. I couldn't, you know, once you get the mind of living internally, living from the inside out, I couldn't care less. You're on your journey. I'm here to help you because that's who I want to be. But I need to work on myself because it's all from the inside. I'm the only one that can control me. Go find those topics that are hot button topics and know them. Know the arguments against them, only for a mental thing. And there's not a right or wrong. This isn't a right or wrong. This is for you to say, I'm wasting my time on fake conversations. I'm wasting my time yelling at this. I'm wasting my time bemoaning the day or feeling anxious about something coming through. This is your chance to say, I'm going to redirect my mind. And maybe you don't want to do Topic City. That's fine. Do something else. But you can use your time and your mind, be conscious, and you can be aware, or you can spend some time getting in and getting to know a city. There is the fallacy of equal knowledge. I'm going to kind of wrap it in here. The fallacy of equal knowledge is that if only others had the same information that I have, they'd agree with me. All right? It's true, right? We think that if I could just explain it, if I could just explain my point of view, if they just understood, if they just saw that study, you know, if only they did those things, then that could help them, they can fix them, I can make them think right, you know? The mistaken belief that if everyone had access to the same information, they would all naturally arrive at the same conclusion, usually yours, right? It's an assumption that smooths away all the messy aspects of human thought, such as values, priorities, experiences. However, this makes disagreements appear to be nothing more than information gaps. In reality, people can hold the same facts in their hands and still walk away with completely different understandings. Holy smokes, is that our day and age right now? Huh? Are we getting two completely different views? Which one's right? There's not one. My wife got it right. Ours. That is correct. My wife's, she is absolutely correct. Her right is the right way. But beyond her, what is the right way? There's not a right way. All you can do is focus on you and work on you and put out that energy. And then when we get collective people like this, that's where the power starts to move. That's where the church, that's where we start to pull together and say, hey, I do believe the same way with you. Let's see if we can make some power on there. But that's not to say that somebody else's priorities or values or experiences are invalid because they don't align with my particular values in this day and age. As we get older, I know we've all seen it. A little bit younger tends to push a little harder, like, well, I can't believe you even think that. I'm like, listen, man, in the 60s, you wouldn't believe what they thought. You can't believe the amount of what's changed right now. Not that we're in a great place. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I can see that press of youth more, and I understand, like, yes, we want to make change, we want to make movement, but you've got to give people grace. My experience is not the same as your experience. You know, how long did it take to get over that guilt of abandoning our parents' religion that was so deeply ingrained? It took me years to get over that guilt. Oh, goodness. And I thought I'd never put it in mind. I only have me to deal with. Now, my kids, I send them on the right way, but whatever they choose, they choose. They live their life the way they want to live their life. You live the life that you want to live. God does not want anything from you. Once again, God is always expressing itself. Right now, you're expressing. Right now, you are creating. Right now, I am. That's why it's hard to live really deliberately. Not only is it tough to do because it takes a lot of focus and a lot of concentration, but it's a ridiculous amount of responsibility. If you are now responsible for your life, if you can't say, well, I was late because I had a flat tire, that's true. It's your responsibility, though. It's not necessarily your fault, but things are your responsibility that you have to step up and take care of. I can't take care of wars that are going in the world. What I can do is be responsible for myself and say, I'm going to put out a thought of peace and positivity. I'm going to stand up for what I believe, and I'm going to have thought about what those are so that when someone questions on me, I can say, this is what I believe. This is why I believe. I'm going to take the time to make me who I want to be so that I express God the way I think God wants to be expressed, which is all of our own choices. So that's really all there is. To take accountability is a ton of work, but doing nothing is okay too. You can fail, but give each other grace. Give each other the goodness and recognize that we're all struggling through this human condition, and we're all working through our experiences. We're all working through our trauma. We're all working through our time, and luckily we found it all together with a bunch of like-minded people. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and have a lovely, lovely weekend.
Now, announcements featuring Mitch Brashers. After the microphone is turned on by Darcy.
Yay!
We ran all the way back.
All right. Now get to the announcements. So after today's service, Carrie Kugler is hosting a bake sale. The sweet eats and spooky treats will be for sale after the service. All the money raised will go to the HVAC repairs, the special project there. We're moving right along. And when you go out the front doors, you'll see right in Fellowship Hall, there's 2 tables lined up. You can just walk right into them. Don't stop. Don't talk to anybody. Just go straight. Just go straight, buy some cookies, and then talk over eating cookies. Share the cookies right down the head. Cake, it's delicious. And please come share in the stillness this evening and every Sunday evening at 6 p.m. during our group meditation. Whether you're new or have been meditating for years, everyone is welcome. And tomorrow is a federal holiday, and the church office will be closed. For which holiday, Dee? Which holiday?
Indigenous Peoples Day.
Indigenous Peoples Day. That's right. And the Navigating Grief Group meets the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays each month. This next meeting is Tuesday at 6 p.m. Anyone experiencing any type of grief is welcome to attend. And we have a video. Roll the tape.
Hello, everyone. It's wonderful to see you, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone on Saturday, October 18th. I'm going to be leading a workshop called Get Ready to Thrive on Saturday, October 18th from 1 to 3 p.m. I'm thrilled to be coming down to Unity of Springfield again. I may have met you, and if not, I want to meet you next time I come. So be there Saturday from 1 to 3 for our workshop, and we're going to be talking about how you can claim your good, expand your vision, navigate change, and align with the divine. It is time to thrive. The program is called Get Ready to Thrive. So come join us for an empowering time of fun and connection, and let's uplift one another. The love offering is $20. It's a suggested love offering. Of course, no one will be turned away, and I look forward to seeing you. It is our season to thrive, to flourish. See you there.
And not only is the Reverend Diana Kennedy doing the workshop on Saturday, she will also be our guest speaker next Sunday for the celebration service. Diana has been a Unity Truth student since 1991 and was ordained as a Unity minister in 2013. Living near Unity Village in Kansas City, Missouri, in the Kansas City Metro, she serves with Unity Worldwide Ministries, supports leaders and churches worldwide. She also leads Flow Magic, a program guiding people to their true inner self, and works as a life coach, writer, and speaker dedicated to sharing light and love. Next Sunday, please join us for our New Thought and Adult Education class with Karen Crago. This is your Brain on God. A class begins at 9:15 a.m., and you can attend in person, or you can watch the live stream from our Facebook page if you can't make it in person. And from November through March, when overnight temperatures are below freezing, our church opens a crisis cold weather shelter. During September and October, we do 8 items in 8 weeks donation drive to collect the most used shelter items. There are lists of items on the connection table in the foyer. Next Sunday is our 7th week, and the items are cheese or peanut butter crackers. If you donate all 8 items, make sure you get entered to the drawing to win $100. And we have started signing up volunteers for our shelter. If you're interested, there is a QR code out on the connection table that you can scan, and you can see all the shifts that are available. There are also many ways to get involved, so please see Lisa or Lacey if you have any questions. And of course, you can email questions to shelter@unityofspringfield.org. Norma! The podium is yours.
Good morning. Uh-oh, I broke it. Thank you. So good to be here. I sit on the Finance Committee, better known as the Prosperity and Growth Group, which is a mouthful. But we search for new ways of creating value for members, as well as financing for paying the bills of this church. And it occurred to me that all of us have some interest in some element of real estate. After all, we're always on or in some element of real estate: your home, your apartment, or the store you shop in, or this building. So many of you here have careers in banking or appraising or investing in real estate, and we'd like to get together and share that knowledge. So my career in real estate spanned over 40 years. I've done selling and brokering and appraising and investing and managing, and so I'm retired now, but I thought we could maybe have a forum to get together interested people in real estate. I'm not proposing to teach it. I'm not a teacher. I can't remember what I said 10 minutes ago, and my hearing is really bad. But there's a lot of people here that can share their knowledge. So I'm hoping that this will attract some new members here, and of course new members mean new money. So we have planned an organizational meeting for the 21st here. That's a Tuesday at 6 p.m. I need a head count to set up for, so if you want to be involved, or if you have friends that you want to be involved, let them know. This will be open to everybody. So thank you, and hope to see you there if you want to be. So there's a lot more going on here. They've asked me to announce that there's a new member ceremony on October the 26th during the service. And the orientation before that is October the 19th, right after the service. The new members would be required to attend the orientation. So pick up an application at the welcome desk in the foyer. And by the way, the real estate forum has a sign-up sheet in the hallway too. And if you're not here, like if you're online, like I generally am, just call it in. Let us know if you're going to be there. I've been a member here for nearly 50 years. I helped to write the mission statement of this church, which is to support diversity, equality, and inclusion. Those things are more important now than they ever have been before. I'm here as a member, and always will be, because I love this church. So, if you want to be a member, let them know. Thank you.
Thank you, Norma. It's always good to have real estate savvy. I bankrupted my family one night in a hotel in Broadway, and it just ruined my whole family. It was terrible. There will be a new, Norma covered that, new members, et cetera, et cetera. All right, we are not having a spooktruncular event this year. However, kids are welcome to wear costumes to church on Sunday, October the 26th. There will be special activities and treats that morning. Honestly, kids are welcome to wear costumes whenever they want. Let them have some fun. What's that?
0 to 100.
I feel like we have an age limit. It's 18, right? Like, don't we have a, anyway. Save the date. Our fall yard cleanup is happening on, all right, pipe down. Let's get through this. We have one more. Stay with me, people. Save the date. Our fall yard cleanup is happening on Saturday, November the 8th. If you can lend a hand, please sign up at the connection table. Together, we can keep our grounds looking beautiful. All right, if you would stand and join us in our prayer for protection. Together now. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.